I probably should have waited to go live on this one, but it's okay. Hello, hello, hello. Incredible greetings. All right, so I have to now wait for the Facebook one to catch up. There we go. And go live. All right, we are now officially live on all platforms. Yay. And I can see comments there. I can see comments there. I can see comments there. Awesome. All right. It's Friday. It's Friday. It's Friday. It's Friday. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and get this all shared out so we can get started. How y'all doing? How you doing? How you doing? I'm going to mute my mic because I know that it's going to pick up sound. See? Okay, there we go. We are all shared out. All shared out, all shared out, all shared out. Hello, hello, hello. Incredible greetings. Once again, everyone, incredible greetings. We're going to hop into this. It's Friday, y'all. There were a couple of different things that I've wanted to discuss, and we kind of sort of discussed it in our creative business like last night. And then I had a free pro call yesterday. Always check your emails if you're in my academy because you don't want to miss opportunities to get on. And as Whitley would say, relax, relax. But no, we really talked about some business things, helped a few people out in some of the areas that they were foggy in. That is what I love to do. That is where I thrive at. I'm in a community which the name was about to change. I'm not even going to say the name of it right now. And we were introducing ourselves and talking about our businesses and who we are, what we do, who we serve, and how people can like support us and stuff. And one of the things that I kind of switched up in how I introduced myself was I'm an ideas engine. Like that is where I thrive at is ideas but also giving you the tools and the resources and the direction for you to take action. Like, I don't necessarily want to be a done for you company. And that happens a lot where people kind of come to me and it's like, you'll give them ideas, but it's like, okay, now what I do, they want you to kind of completely hold their hand. But I like introducing people to concepts, ideas that they otherwise would not have thought of. I thrive in thinking outside of the box. So that was something a little new that how I describe myself today, which I do it like internally, but just knowing that I am like an ideas engine and I can really process a lot of different things and kind of, give you different ideas, strategies, and resources to reach your goals, right? I don't really do this in a way where I'm like, hey, I have the blueprint and I want to share with you my blueprint so they can help you. No, I like helping people develop their own blueprint based off of their capacity, what their needs are, what their wants are, what their goals are, and just being able to provide different insights. So that was pretty cool. Being able to do that this one, like that was refreshing for me to be able to describe myself in that manner. All right. So we're going to come on. And if you didn't see the title, it says, let's talk. Let's keep it real. Are you the problem? Are you the problem in your creative business, in your side hustle? Are you the problem? Are you afraid of being identified as the problem? Do you reject when or you reject someone saying you are the problem, and what you receive is somebody is not wanting you to be successful. You see it as negative energy. I'm going to block all that negativity. When someone points out some holes in your boat where there might be, some room for improvement, or ask yourself, be very, very honest. Our business is called Honestly Speaking for a reason. So I want you to ask yourself, are you the problem because you reject what is uncomfortable for you to hear? How often are you rejecting what is uncomfortable for you to hear? I want you to think about that, ponder on that. Why I say hello, author LJ Walker, incredible greetings. Michelle, hello, welcome. Thank you for tapping in. Thank you for commenting, letting me know that you were on and watching. Denisha, hello, how are you? Welcome in. Thank you for tapping in. If you guys can go ahead and smash that like button. If you're watching over on YouTube, you will need to close out of the live chat to be able to give the video an algorithm boost by liking it as soon as you come on. Dropping a hey, how you doing? That's also an algorithm boost as well. If you know you are trying to utilize social media for your business, your side hustle, if you want to be a content creator, know that engagement is king. Like, you have to have engagement, especially when you first drop something. If you're going to be the person that's going to be bold enough to go live, you need that engagement so that those platforms and their systems know to push it out to those who are subscribed, those who are following, those who are like on your friends list, things of that nature. So if you guys can do that solid, if I have ever helped you in any way, shape, or form in your journey over the past, I've been on for 10 years. So whenever you were introduced to me, if it was 2 days ago, a week ago, a month ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, if you've been rocking with me since the beginning, 11 years ago, and it's been helpful for you in some way, shape, or form, please go ahead and do that solid and give the video a thumbs up. Drop a comment. Just say, hey. You don't got to do too much. I know you're at work. You don't have to do too much. Just say, hey, Professor, in the chat. I will greatly, greatly appreciate it. Forever blessed. Hello, welcome. Thank you so very much for your comment and helping to push the broadcast out. It is greatly, greatly appreciated. All right, so I gave y'all a little time. All right. Where are you at? And the question that I posed to you, do you reject the uncomfortable? Yes, no, maybe so, sometimes. Is there anyone that's going to be bold enough, whether you're watching this live or if you are watching the playback of this, who is going to answer? Yes, no, maybe so, sometimes. That you reject what is uncomfortable. I've been rocking with you for over 4 years now, and I have learned so much from you. It feels like it's been longer than that. Oh, thank you so much. Appreciate it. So I see a yes. Okay. Sometimes, depending on the tone, it's been given to me. Interesting. So that brings up a question. If you know someone, right, and you've actually spent time with them, and you may know that they are coming from a good place, right? Well, I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say that because there are some people that I do know, i.e., my husband, and yeah, I think it is where we can sometimes reject it if it feels like someone made a post, like if it feels like it's coming from a judgmental place versus a helpful place. So I get that. So I don't know. Is it tone or is it intent? Because sometimes I think when you're having certain discussions, like whatever was happening beforehand and the context around how the uncomfortable came about can make us be like, so I don't know if it's tone or if it's identifying the underlying intent in some of the things that people say. I'm an emotional person, so sometimes my emotions get to me first, and I have to process what's being said. I am definitely like that as well. She says, "That's yes, that's it right there." But yeah, I am kind of I have to process it, and that's really important. Being open to processing it, even if not in the moment, going back and thinking about it, and if there is something that that person said to you that was kind of sort of true, you now have to decide what your next move is going to be. Once you identify that, there are some truths, there are some things that I don't fully agree with, but there are some truths. And I think that will also help us in business and just in life. And the notion that two things can be true at one time. Because people will often say things to us and it makes us uncomfortable. And because of how we feel like and right now I'm referring to business. This can apply to a lot of things in life because I know I go through it as a parent. My kids are 7 years apart, and the parent that I was when MJ was 7 compared to the parent that I am now with Zion Imani being 7, two totally different worlds. But we're talking about more so like business, and someone may say something to you and there is some truths in there, but we tend to reject it all because of the one area where we're like, well, no, this part isn't true. So we invalidate, or we want to, like, that is our initial reaction, is to invalidate everything that they said because it's like, well, that's not true for this one thing. And we reject all of the other truths that may have been exposed in that interaction. I'm guilty of it as well. So it's not like I'm, passing blame. I know, and I'm speaking from, I can speak on this because I have been guilty of this as well. And I work on it on a consistent basis to find balance. I definitely reject when people talk in absolute and make it seem as if you have to do something, or you are a specific way, or it has to be this way, because history has proven time and time again there is more than one way to do something. There's more than one way to reach the finish line. There's more than one way to be on top and be successful, because every person that has run, I ran track. So every person that runs, track, their technique isn't the same. The way they come out of the starting blocks isn't the same. The way that they train won't be the same, because everybody's body is different. Everybody's body needs different things. Their diet when they're training isn't going to be the same. But at any given race, somebody else can be the winner, right? So there's more than one way to prepare yourself to be a winner, to complete the race, right? So history has shown us that time and time again. There's no one way. I think that is why I reject blueprint unless you are literally going to do every single thing. In the business sense, unless your life mirrors the person that has this blueprint, I mean, exactly, it's almost impossible. Blueprints, as somebody that was into science and math and engineering and things of that nature, for building a structure, a blueprint is needed. And we like to try and take that term and make it fit other things because of what a blueprint does for architecture and building things. That is something that you are following this according to code, according to regulation. But even with blueprints, there are revisions. There are corrections that need to be made. There is somebody that's sitting up very, very high that's looking at different things, whether it was because of the way that the environment changed, the way that materials are made, if it's different codes, those blueprints have to be updated. There's not one single blueprint, and it's like it only has to be done this way. Even with blueprints, there are multiple versions of it. There is a different blueprint for every single building. I ride down the street, in my area, and we see a lot of houses that were originally built in kind of the same style. So yeah, there was a blueprint to build these houses in a similar fashion, in a similar shape, and the way the rooms are and stuff there was this blueprint. And I can see where the houses are similar, but then it really is different when you think about the people that live in these houses. They were built as a shell to look alike, but different paint was put on them. The way that the inside was decorated, all of those things are different. So a blueprint can definitely set the foundation. It can get you going, but you need to make it your own. Each one of these houses that on the outside looks the same, what goes on inside of that house is very much so different. And even the color is different. The yard is different. The land is different. Our house is on a corner lot. How it's positioned is different than a house that's in the middle of the block and they have less land. So I just say all of that to say, like, you can't just latch on to someone's blueprint when they're saying that, because everybody's different. You're going to treat that house and you're going to decorate that house and you're going to treat your business differently. But what a blueprint does do, it gives you a foundation. It gives you a starting point. It gives you technically a shell of a home. I'm not going to say of a house, because once it has the electrical and the water and the walls, it's a blank canvas, but it's not a shell. It's just like, it doesn't have walls and things, but it's a shell of a home. And a mentor, a coach, a teacher, whoever, they can give you a shell of a business and some things that might work for you, but you have to make it your own. You have to. Okay. So that's some of the things we're going to talk about. All right. I see some things over here. Hold on. Let's see. So yes, I have to so I will not take offense, and give yourself grace. If you take offense when it first comes at you because you're not prepared for it, it's okay. What you do after that is really telling of who you are. Okay. Especially if I feel the person is trying to, if I truly feel the person is trying to help. Okay. So she says, baby, me and you have had so many of these type of one-on-one conversations, especially when it comes to me having to decide if I'm going to focus on my writing or if I'm going to continue focusing on making t-shirts full time. We definitely have. So incredible morning, Angela. I didn't want to hear it, but once I did step away from focusing on making shirts, I was able to publish my book and getting ready to drop another one. Hey, that deserves to be celebrated. Go ahead and show her some love in the chat, no matter where you're watching at. Just say congratulations. All right, so even if you're not on that platform, let's show her some love in the chat. Now that I have a reader's audience built up and made more author friends, I've started designing and making t-shirts and tumblers for them. And this is one of the things I always try to express when it comes to niches. Some people are very, it's like it's they when they describe niche, and it's like it's very, I'm gonna say one-sided, but it's like it's very, their thinking is very narrow, and you can create niches within genres and things of that nature. So awesome, 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 awesome. And she says, awesome, congrats. Let's see, none over there. Let's go over here to, oh, my phone is gonna go. I put on the charger too. So Gusman says, yes, I agree. Yvonne says, hey girl, hey, hello, 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 hello. Oh, why am I frozen? Okay, that's okay, because I paused it. I just paused in a really weird area. Okay, so incredible morning, Christy. So one of the things that I want to, because there can be multiple layers of this, and I'm learning to not pile it all on so that an individual doesn't feel like, well, damn, am I not doing anything right? Because we can definitely go there, but this is where my mentorship comes in at, and we get to kind of break that down piece by piece by piece, and expose where you are lacking and where you could use some support, where you could use someone with a very strong voice to like shake you up and like, look, I need you to consider this. I know that, in your mind, it's this way. Somebody to be able to help you figure out strategies, guide you with the best intent, and to help you figure this thing out and navigate it based off of your capacity. That is what our mentorship program, our creative business program, which I'm adjusting the name to say mentorship. I'm going to embrace mentorship because almost every person that's in there is like, they always say, my mentor. So we're going to embrace that word mentorship in our creative business program. But that's where we really can like chip away at all these things because it's so many layers to it. I'm finding that those who are brand new are not giving themselves grace on the things that they don't know. And they're also not even saying give themselves grace. Some just don't want, like they're rejecting that information and knowledge. They're rejecting when someone tries to break down all of the layers because they feel like it should just be black and white. I just want to get straight to this. Our attention spans are really, really low for certain things. And it's, we just want to get to the bag and things of that nature. But there's so many layers to it. There's so many nuances to actually building a successful business outside of just learning new creative things. And the thing that I want to talk about today, which comes up so often. Oh, let's play a game. Let's see. What do you think we should break down today? What do you think I'm going to break down today? What do you think is one of the biggest pain in the ASS for business owners, startups, those looking to build, like what would probably it's a part of the top 5 gripes. What do y'all think that might be? She says, so thank you, Professor, for sticking to your brand. Honestly speaking, God placed a writing mentor in my life that's just as passionate as you. Yay. Someone says structure. That's up there. Let's see if the topic comes up in the chat. Think about an area where, when it comes to your business, your side hustle, that you're like, I struggle with this the most. Okay, someone else says foundation. Okay. What is keeping you from, well, I think if I say that, it'll reveal exactly what the topic is. I gotta go. Oh, wait, hold on, y'all. I'm gonna have to go get my charger, my finger, and I'm gonna be able to see comments because I need this one to be able to see comments via YouTube. So I'm not YouTube, via Facebook. Oh, y'all got to give me a second because I'm sorry, I gotta go get my charger. So I need y'all to blow up the chat, okay? For anybody that's starting a business, y'all know for me, I talk to a lot of creatives and those who are in like the craft space. Oh, sidebar. In praying. Oh, I have a way to embrace the word craft. I cannot wait to drop that graphic on how I am embracing the word craft, and I won't cringe when I say those who craft. I will no longer cringe because, oh, I can't wait for y'all to see it. I can't wait for y'all to see that piece of artwork. But what is that thing that trips you up in business? Think about that. Write it out. Blow up the chat, y'all. Like it, because we got to get some more people on. I'm telling you, this is a really good message. If you know anybody that is trying to start something, no matter what type of business it is, have them come onto this. Click share, send them the link. If you're watching on Facebook, tag them in it. Just simply dropping, hey, hello in the chat helps the algorithm, but I got to go get my charger, okay? Yeah, I'm going to go get it, all right? So hold on. Now I'm going to have to cut all this out. I'm going to have to download this and trim all this part out where I had to run for my charger. Okay, so I see one person that said it. Today's discussion is going to be about the money, okay? About pricing. That is what today's discussion is going to be on. Pricing, pricing, pricing. The money, the money, the money, the money. Because without it, do you really have this? Is it just a glorified hobby if it's not making money? All right. So pricing, 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 pricing. But I do like the one, foundation, structure, choosing items that's timeless, not a fad. And when it comes to choosing items that are timeless and not a fad, there are times where if you have the capacity to, you have the resources, it is okay to jump on those things and get that quick money. But what can be detrimental to your business is if you don't have something that when there's not a new fad, or if it is a fad that you don't have the capacity to fulfill, if you don't have timeless things or things that like the flagship, your foundational things in your business that will always be like, it's going to be the core. That's what I want to use, the core of your business. You want to be able to have those that can sell 365 days a year, 366 in a leap year. But it is okay if you have the capacity, if your core things are slow, but you're able to take advantage of that kind of quick money in that moment. That's great, as long as your entire business, the trend, quick money after quick money, because you'll burn yourself out and you'll also not be as profitable as you think you are, because once you go and you're buying these supplies to take full advantage of these trends and these fads, you might be left with some things that you cannot use. And so that is money that you spent that you're not going to see a return on. So it is kind of still, a loss in a sense, even if you've made enough money to like the profit from all the other stuff to pay for it, that's still somewhat of a loss, which is why when it comes to my mentorship, I tell you, like, if you want to take advantage of these things, it's okay, but limit it and be okay with limiting it. And hey, once it's sold out, it's sold out. And if it's something that's really, really good and people feel like, man, I don't want to miss out the next time, because especially if this is something that you normally don't do, you want them to feel like the next time that they do this, I'm not going to miss out, because last time, they sold out. So it's okay to have those novelty, offers. Okay, so she says, I'm not social media savvy. I know that's on me and pricing. Sorry, I'm working and listening. It's okay. Thank you so much, Michelle, for circling back around, tapping in, and dropping that. Okay, so, but I like that. Like social media, people say like, as far as being social media savvy, I know you're at work. Whenever you can, drop it. You may not be social media savvy, but how are you on a scale of 1 to 10? Not even with social media. If you are fake, and why am I'm supposed to be looking here, but I'm looking at your comment. To me, it's in my brain. It's like by me looking at your comment, I feel like I'm talking directly to you when I should be looking at the camera to talk directly to you. But in my mind, it's like I'm looking at your name directly in your comment. And it's like, for me, it's that connection to feel like I'm talking directly to you. But I'm gonna look over here because I know in the playback of it, that's gonna seem very weird for me to be like looking this way and then talking. Sidebar. But on a scale of 1, we'll keep it simple, 1 to 5, how are you with really being able to effectively communicate what it is that you do? And being able to identify, like let's say if you are multifaceted, like me, being able to identify what it is that you're going to express to that individual in that moment what you do. How well do you navigate that? Incredible morning, Jamie. How art thou? Thank you for tapping in. She says marketing. Okay. All right. So I've seen so many posts about pricing correctly. I see so many posts, so many reels on people trying to justify their pricing, or they're making it seem as if the customer is wrong if they reject their pricing, or they're coming on here and they're just like, oh, somebody said that I was too expensive. And I've actually, been in rooms and been in situations where I've listened to certain people say, I have people that tell me I don't charge enough. I've been on both sides of that, with someone saying it's not enough, someone saying it's too much. I'm looking at discourse in comments. There was someone, a group of people, and they were like, their program was like either 15,000 or like 30,000. And someone was like, for 30,000, you better, it's like almost like they want them to hold their hand. But for some, that 30,000 is like a drop in the bucket, and they're just expecting like just a small morsel of information, where for them spending 500,000, 300,000, even $1 million to them is that number to get the hands on, and for somebody to walk you through and be like side by side with you. So it's relative to the person. And that is the same for you guys in your business, in this creative business, in this craft business, when it comes to pricing. And when someone's like, oh, well, I don't want to price too high, but I don't want to shortchange myself. I want to price based off of my worth. But then someone will say, oh, this was too expensive. And a lot of the times, I'm not saying every time, because y'all know I don't like to talk in absolutes. Ow, bit my lip. But a lot of the time when business owners, entrepreneurs, side hustlers, they bring up well, someone said that I was expensive. There's a little shade, there's a little pettiness behind that. And it's like, well, I know my worth. I know the quality of what I make. And if, and it's like almost shaming someone if they can't afford it and it's too rich for their blood. But that's going to be the case. I'm pretty sure you chose the car that you have based off of the price, what you were able to pay, the payments that you were able to handle. When you went and you looked at what the insurance, like you might have been able to afford a certain car, but maybe something like, okay, well, this car's insurance is going to put me way outside of what I'm able to spend. You're not walking, driving around in the most expensive car there is, and there's reasons for that, right? So are you to be shamed because you got what you liked that fit within your budget? Should that car company have lowered the price of this really luxury car to fit your budget? No. And we experience these things as consumers every single day. We have to make decisions every single day on something as simple as, I'll give you an example. I went to KFC. I like Chicken Littles, right? When they brought back the Smoky Mountain barbecue sauce, I was like, oh yes, God, right? Let me get 5 of them, okay? Dip, I need you to drown them in the barbecue sauce. Now, I think the regular Chicken Little might be $2.99. I think. Let's just say $3. Okay, I think it's, and even then, I'm like, okay, that's a little steep for that. Because if you've ever seen a Chicken Little, it's pretty much, to me, it's like a half a strip of tender on some bread. And I want to say, like, get a little bit of mayo, a little pickle on it. So I want to say, if you just get a regular Chicken Little, it's $2.99. So $3 for this thing that's like this big, not too bad, because a cheeseburger is about $2.59, even though it's much smaller, like it's chicken. I can deal with $3. But just for them to drip 10 cents, probably not even 10 cents worth of barbecue sauce on that joint. They said $4.18. I'm sorry, excuse me. It cost how much? Even for something as small as that. I like them. And when I really want to indulge, and I'm like, I really, really want one, I'll go get me a couple of them. But my kids also like, well, MJ likes them, even likes them. And so now when it's like, okay, so they're really small. I have growing men, and, a young man. I can probably just satisfy, I just want it to satisfy that taste that I have for it. I might be cool with 2. Not them boys that I live with. They want like 5 of them joints. So it was like we went, and I'm like, okay, I just want to be 2. MJ tried them once, and he wants. He's like, but they're so small, man. I need like 4 of them to fill me up. Well, I'm gonna need you to get something else. Get you a drink. Get you some fries. You need to get something else to fill the rest of your belly, because what we're not gonna do is, what was the math on it? We end up having to get 12. Yeah, it was $50. $50 for 12 sandwiches. They were like this. I promise you, the Chicken Little is no bigger than this. But I was like, oh wow, they wanted it. All I wanted was 2. I was like, I can deal with the $8, almost $9 or whatever, almost just for 2 of them. But because I wanted that, right? Like, it's something that I really, really wanted in that moment. It's like I'm not going there like all the time. It's not a big number. But then when you go and you compound that with the fact that the men told me, oh, can I get 5 of them? They little. Then I asked, excuse me, can I just get a side of the barbecue sauce? Because at this point, y'all need to get a side of barbecue sauce and y'all need to dip these joints yourself because they're charging $1 and some change to simply dip this thing. They wouldn't give me a side of barbecue sauce. I was so upset. So upset. But this is something that we go through where I'm looking at them like, I know you're lying. So in that moment, I had to make a decision. Do I go and say, no, we're not going to get these. I'm going to come back when it's me by myself and get me my two? Or am I going to spend $50? It's not a matter of like not having it. Is it really worth it to spend $50 on some chicken noodles? We as consumers go through this all the time. So why do we think that our customers won't go through the same thing? They won't go through that same decision-making process. And it's like, is it worth it today? Do I want to spend that kind of money today? Could I maybe come back later on and get something? But for what I want, I end up buying it, but I made sure the next time I'm not going to KFC to get me no chicken noodles and my child is in the car. I'm going by myself. So now most times when I go get them, I go by myself because I'm not spending $50 because the men in my house act like they just can't eat two and get them some French fries and call it a day. Okay. Because they want the fiber, but then they also want French fries and a drink. And we're not doing that in Houston. Okay. To me, the value is not there. But when I really, really want it, and some of the things that we create as creatives, it's not necessarily a want. Like if in that moment, it's okay, yeah, we're hungry. Although this is what I have a taste for, this is what I have a desire for, this might be a little too rich for my blood. I'm not saying that y'all are overcharging for it, although I do think they are overcharging for the barbecue sauce. I'm not gonna lie. I think $1 and some change is a bit much just to get a little barbecue sauce drenched on it. But that's their price. When I want to spend it, I go back, I get my two. I will probably do it every blue moon to spend $50 to get 12 of them with nothing else, no sides. But every blue moon, I can see spending $10 to get me two to satisfy a craving. But if it was a matter of just feeding my family, that $50, I'm like, yeah, that's a little too rich for my blood. Let's go somewhere else where it can stretch. It's not to say that particular place is worse. I find that a lot of, postal. A lot of creators feel like if someone rejects their price and they go somewhere else for something that's a little bit more reasonable, that fits their budget in the moment, it's often this thing of, oh, I can't wait to see what they get. Like, it's going to be cheap. It's going to be this. Now, granted, sometimes it is a little suspect. It's a little suspect. It really is a little suspect, but it's not the case every single time when they go somewhere that their money, it aligns better with their money. Like we shun people, we shame people because their money doesn't align with our prices. And there might be someone, the fact that you are in groups where there's so many different creatives, that means you are not unique. What you are providing is not unique. It comes a dime a dozen. There is somebody else that's able to do this. Yes, of course, we are going to feel like, and we should feel like our way is the best way. Our business is the best business. You're not going to get anything better anywhere else. We should feel that way. We really should. But it doesn't mean the consumer has to feel that way. If you are finding that you're getting more pushback on your pricing, you then have to look at where you are marketing at. Are you being a lazy business owner and you are marketing where it is comfortable for you, where it is easy for you to market using social media, or just, to the people who, they don't have a whole lot of disposable income. That's probably the best way that I can put it. Like, when you're looking at your demographic, does your business show up in a way where it's going to be appealing to someone that got some coin, that have a little bit of coins to spend? What are you exposing about your business online? I see so many mentors and coaches, and they're like, share the experience, show your humble beginnings. People want to order from you. They want to connect with you, and they want to resonate with you. A lot of times, if you're starting out and how you're doing this to be able to make ends meet, like some of you, let's be honest, you start these business because you are desperate to make up the difference, to cover bills, to be able to do the extra. So when it's like, okay, we want somebody to resonate like with us, right? Well, if they can resonate too much, is that really who you want? Like, you have to ask. I'm not saying it's wrong, I'm not saying it's right, but then if you know that person that resonates with you, like they're kind of cheap, they're kind of frugal, they're going to assess the value at every single turn. Is that the customer that you want? Or do you truly desire someone that is not going to assess the value or like the price every single, like if you're presenting it in a way and it looks up to their standards, it meets their quality, requirements, and your customer service, the way that your website looks, the pricing is in alignment for what they were looking for, and they are ready to just swipe their card or give you this cash, then you may have to do something a little different. If you have no plans to not bootstrap your business, if in your mind you have never, ever, 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 ever thought about, I'm not going to be the person taking pictures of my products for the duration of my business. At some point, I want to be able to hire a professional, because what you are a professional at might be making the greatest t-shirts, the greatest tumblers, the greatest tables, the greatest fans, the greatest yard signs, chip bags, water bottle labels, but you could suck at taking pictures. You don't understand settings. You don't understand lighting. You don't understand proper backgrounds, which is why you still using that damn fur. Oh, I'm sorry. That's a trigger for me. I hate whoever told y'all to put that ish on that dingy fur. I hate whoever told y'all that. And I wish they would retract it and y'all would stop listening to it. I digress though. But if you don't understand lighting, or hey, I'll invest in a background, but it's super shiny, but I'm in a room that's dark. So I had to turn on my flash, and now I have this glare. Well, I don't know, like a professional when it comes to photography, they may know how to go into Lightroom. They may know how to go into Photoshop, and they can correct that. They can do certain things. Now you're like, okay, well, I need to bootstrap this. I don't have the funds for it. I don't want to pay for someone for it. Their price is too high. See, in your own business, you reject help and delegating because you will say somebody's prices are too high. But you want to be given grace on your pricing. Let's be real. Let's talk about it. Are you the problem? Because that's not your area of expertise when it comes to photographing. When it comes to the right words, the right copy for your business, for setting up your website, it's not as easy as wham bam. I hear all the time, well, is there a beginner friendly way to set up a web? You know how many layers and how many things that have to be in place, and how many small nuances. Maybe you need someone to take the reins and at least get it started and make sure all those points, and all you have to do is learn how to maintain it. Because website development, website setup, website design may not be your area of expertise. When it comes to marketing and branding, and it comes to creating advertisements and these different things, like how you communicate. Maybe you are great at using your hands, but you are not a great communicator. You don't do well on camera being the face of your business, but you reject the idea of someday having a spokesperson for your business. It's going to cost too much, but you want somebody to always pay your prices when you are rejecting. You're not thinking about the bigger picture of business and how you're going to spend more money for your business to move effortlessly. You are trying to operate outside of what your capacity is, because there are people who glorify you can get to the bag. You need, like, you can become a 6-figure earner, a 7-figure earner. When right now you might just need to focus on how I get an extra couple hundred. Like, I just need, whether it's, a mid 3 figures, a high 3 figures. $999 is still within the 3-figure range. You're a step away, $1 away from being in the 4 figures. But I want you to really think about, if you were able to make enough sales, like, and you had $999. Think about bills that you have. How many bills could $999 and even 99 cents, you might be a penny away from $1,000. But what could that do for you? Is your capacity closer to being able to get an additional $500 or an additional 5,000, an additional 15, an additional 25, 50, 500,000? We go, it's like, okay, yeah, I want to have $1 million brand. But you haven't even started to think about, research any of the things it takes to have a $1 million business. There's so many moving parts to it. It's going to be almost impossible to have this $1 million machine run with just you, because there are so many moving parts. Are you thinking about that? So when you don't think about that, it affects how you price, because you're pricing for the moment. You're like, okay, well, I need to do this way so I can take care of this. You're just thinking that it's going to just give you all this financial freedom. You have no strategy, no structure to your pricing. You are in groups to say, hey, how much y'all charging for this? You don't bother to ask questions about where they live at, what the cost of living is like where they're at. The people who they're selling to, are they in what we call like the projects? Are they in a low income area? Because there are businesses who thrive. Low income areas have to have access to things too. So there are businesses that are in lower income areas. And sometimes the cost of how, like, apartments or housing and stuff, it reflects that compared to housing in a different area. Like, there's so many factors, but you're not asking those questions. When you're getting these numbers, you're not questioning who they're serving. When it's a number that's higher than what you charge, oh, I'm charging too low. Oh my God, I got to get better with my pricing. But you don't even have the knowledge on how to properly price. You don't know if, like, we'll say, oh, this is expensive because you're buying retail. But they have a business and they have a demand where they might, or actually, no, I'm going to back up, because the example I'm going to use is the opposite way of that. Someone sees a price, oh, you don't know your worth. Oh, I could never sell that for that amount. You don't really, maybe what you are selling, you couldn't sell it for that amount. Who is at my door? I don't know if that's Amazon or if there's somebody. They messing up my groove. Please hold, because they're in my driveway, so that can't be Amazon. Please hold. Okay, my bad. That is my cousin. She's obsessed with her child. Her child having to have her iPad. So someone says that $999.90 can pays all of my bill for 3 months. Wait, $999 will pay all of your bills, not just for 1 month. She said 3 months. So that takes me to this. You don't know what someone like their situation and how like they're living, what their bills are for their business. So it might be someone and you're like, man, that's too low, right? How can they offer custom? But if their volume is high, they might be buying their items in bulk. And I mean real bulk, not that little bulk that y'all consider me to be bulk. Y'all be telling something. How much should I charge them for what's your bulk pricing for this, whatever? They want 10, baby. That's not bulk. That's you still paying regular price for all of this. There's no discount at 10. Excuse me? No. I don't work overtime for less money. Sorry. Because that's one of my biggest things I teach on. Why y'all working overtime for less money? Why y'all listen to people that tell y'all, oh, if they got one shirt for 45 and then you go and well you got a shirt for 40 or for $50 or whatever, when you go and they want two, you don't sell it to them for 100, you sell it to them for $90. Excuse me, what? For 2 shirts? You telling me to already drop discounts and lower prices for 2 shirts? The lies you tell. But see, it sounds good to y'all because they are presenting this thing that, oh, I know this because I've made it. I'm wealthy. I've made all this money. You're struggling to make 3 figures. I'm at 7 figures. I'm at 8. Listen to me. But that is the most unrealistic thing in the world. I do not understand the thought process. I want to work for myself. I want to be an entrepreneur, but on a 9 to 5, when I was clocking in, they bet not dare ask me to do extra work and stay here longer. And you're not going to pay me overtime? Who? Who doing extra work for the same money? The moment they go and they're telling you, oh, well, this person, we had to make some cuts. We now need you to do X, Y, Z. Your mindset is, okay, well, where my extra money at? Okay, you let them go. I ain't saying you got to give me their whole salary, but you saving something. Can I get a little something extra? That is the mindset that you have when you are on a job. But for some reason, when you decide to do your own thing, you become okay with accepting less, but doing more work. How that makes sense? How does that make sense? But back to what I was saying, you'll go and you'll see somebody, but you don't know what you can have. Let's see. Let's just say we're going to say Keisha and April. Okay. Keisha and April. They both sell the exact same thing, right? They both purchase the exact same templates, right? They said, okay, my strength is not designing. I want to plug and play. I want to be able to drag and drop. I'm not going to design. I'm going to go out and everything I'm doing, I'm going to buy templates, right? I'm going to go in them groups. I'm going to get me some them dollar templates, right? I am going to, they're selling, when I tell you the exact same design. Exact same design. Only thing that's going to be different is the person's name they put on it and the picture they put on it and the colors. But they're selling the exact same designs on the exact same method. They both using, whether it's DTF, sublimation, if they still getting prints printed and putting on coroplast for a yard sign. All of that is the same, right? But Keisha has a brick and mortar, or she might have like even because she didn't have the space in her own, she probably just rented like a small space just to be able to give her a little bit more room. She has more equipment. Maybe she has a storage unit. Keisha is set up to where she registered with the state to pay taxes, to pay sales. She wants to be able to get the certificate that says, hey, let me shop here, and I'm going to save money on the front end because I don't have to pay you sales taxes. I won't have to pay the sales tax on these things that I purchased until after I sell it and I collect sales tax on it. Then I have to go ahead and pay the state of Florida, right? So when it came to buying those blanks, they got the same exact designs. They got these, let's say they have the exact same heat press. They have the exact same oven. They have the exact same printer. They have the exact same ink, everything else on the surface. They have the exact same thing. But Keisha has rental space that she has to pay for. Keisha has an accountant or a CPA or a bookkeeper that she's paying for. Keisha is paying taxes. She has business insurance. She has she's putting money into a retirement, because when you have a sole member LLC, there are 401ks that you can do for yourself the same way that you would have had a 401k on your business. Like, there's ways for you to do that when you are a solo operator or owner on that LLC. There's things like for that most y'all don't know, because people don't talk to y'all about that when it comes to business. They just want to say, get this template, do a digital, like sell a digital file, make money in your sleep, not on your feet, but then they're not teaching you or exposing you to the other parts of business. But we do that in the Creative Business Mentorship Program. So just so you know, just a little sidebar, little shameless plug. These are things that we discuss. I expose you to go get more information. I am not your tax professional. I am not your lawyer, but I can expose you to the things that you need to know, that you can go get those right resources and go secure and pay retainers for whoever, whatever. But Keisha has all of this overhead. Keisha has a VA who is processing all of these orders. That person is filtering through them, the ones that qualify, that don't. She has a system in place. But yeah, once you look at it, like on social media, it seems as if they made the same thing, they put out the same thing, but you don't know any of what's going on for Keisha's business. But then we have April. April is working from home. She doesn't have a lot of overhead. Now, you can, of course, deduct, when you have a home, a dedicated workspace, you can put it on your taxes. You could, there's certain things that you can do, but she's pretty much working from home. She doesn't have any overhead. April doesn't have a website. She is filtering all of her orders through her inbox in a non-organized way. Because I'm not going to say it's necessarily a bad thing to filter your orders through like just your email or your inbox, or you're utilizing social media in the beginning, right? If you're doing it in a systemized way, which you want to know a place where you can learn a systemized way before you are ready for like full on, Creative Business Program. We teach you how to get started, but still be like front face, like, and be presenting as professional and have systems in place and processes in place. We do that inside the Creative Business Mentorship Program. Just, not shameless plug. But they have no systems in place, right? They are not registered. They didn't bother to do an LLC. They don't have, oh, it's May. I got to go back to make sure I go and pay our to the state of Florida. So they don't have an LLC or any type of business structure where they are paying, and they are updating that with the Secretary of State. They don't have business insurance. They don't have a CPA. They don't have any assistance. They don't have anyone helping them. They are buying that when it comes to that tumbler, that shirt, they are buying things retail. They are burnt out. They are tired. But hey, when they're posting on social media, hey, I have this business. Their marketing looks the same, because remember, they don't design. So they went and they got a template, because y'all like that word, a template that was how to marketing. All you had to do was just plug in your mock-ups in here, put your business information, put your pricing on it. All right, boom. So even their posts, if you were to come across both of their social medias, because that's all y'all like to use, the social media. Y'all don't think about any other marketing outside of social media. People tell y'all, oh, create the content. That's how that's all we do, right? So what you guys get to see is the same. When they were in that group and someone asked, well, how much are you charging for your fans? And one said one price and one said another. There's differences in, oh, that's not enough. That's too much, and then when it comes to the customers, someone might say, oh, whoa, that's too much. That's not enough, right? April operates on the premises of, I just need to do the supplies times 3, because that's what they say in the craft groups. Just do your supplies times 3. Oh, and on top of that, you're giving a discount that you did not calculate for, right? So supplies times 3 minus the fact I'm going to give you a discount. So I'm really probably only coming out to supplies times 2, because I didn't consider anything else, because I don't have any overhead. I just want to make this sale. I want to make this money. I just need to sell at least 5 sets of these so I can go get my hair done. I can go get my nails done. April operates from a place of what we are accused of. What, you got a bill to pay? We technically, as business owners, all have bills to pay, but there are some that operate their business based off of the next bill that they have to pay. And I'm not, hey, if that is your story, and right now that is what you have to do, that is fine in your side hustle. But if you want a sustainable business, you got to come out of that mindset. You're going to have to get to a point where you are putting systems and processes and SOPs, the very thing that make businesses that you envy and that you say that you want to model after. When y'all go and when someone says certain things, it's like, oh, but do they do this to Walmart? Baby, you ain't operating like Walmart. You don't have no processes in place, no policies in place. You make up the policy from person to person. When people ask you certain things, you say, oh, it depends on who it is. I don't care who it is. Everybody, hey, it's fair game around here. If that is how you are still operating, I just got to ask the question, are you the problem? Are you the problem when it comes to your pricing? Because you have no systems in place. Keisha has been doing this for a long time. She can do this with her eyes closed. Her eyes closed. April just took somebody 5-day challenge. The first 2, almost like beginners, like it came out, but then it got to the point where, ooh, something was a little off. Now, damn it. Every time I do this, I'm getting bubbles. Man, I can't get my colors right. I went to go and press it. I got white. I got the ghost lines on this one. Damn it, I've done 5 tumblers, and I meant my first couple of ones was perfect. But now I cannot figure out how to not get these ghosts, like these white spots. What is going on? My sizing is off. Every time I don't printed this out 30,000 times. I don't printed this out, and I go to press it, and somehow I missed a spot. Y'all are not the same. You're still learning. You may not be in a position where Keisha's prices you can charge. Because from a consumer standpoint, if you're charging me what this company who had, like, man, my customer service experience, I was able to get the pricing immediately. I didn't have to wait 1,000 years to be able to get it. I was able to click a button, do this, do that, or whatever. Like, they can see kind of sort of where that money is going. Like, it's the experience of it. When they got it, it was quality. Keisha, when she was making her fans, she had a quality glue gun that is a high temp. That's a 100 watt, a 300 watt. She had quality glue sticks that don't have strings. It has a high melting point, and it stays liquefied longer. So once she goes and puts it on there and she smooths it out, she has this technique where the glue doesn't bubble out the sides. So it looks nice and smooth. Maybe she has a process that she has developed because she's been doing this for years and years and years. And that thing, even though she's doing it by hand, it just looks so professional. But here we go, April. I'm just starting out. I got the Dollar Tree glue gun. I got the little cheap glue sticks. And as soon as I put it down on this paper, baby, it's solidifying. It's hard. So now these fans got this little hump in it. You're giving this like, wait a minute. You wanted $10 and this thing falling apart? You wanted $30 for this shirt, but you pieced it together to make this all over. Well, you want $50 for this all over shirt because it took you an hour just to make it. But I got lines going down it. Like I can, y'all keep saying, oh, it's so simple you can't see it. No, you barely line that up. Baby, that eyeball look like this. Okay? But you want to be able to charge the same amount that Keisha did? Because it took you more time? Because you don't know what you're doing? She says, and April had the Dollar Tree glue gun. She says, I knew it. I knew it. But this is what we have to understand about pricing. Those houses that I talked about in the beginning that had the same blueprint to build them up, inside one, it's like, look, I took out, they built it up and they put those, what they call builder grade cabinets in here, but I snatched all that out. I put in, shaker cabinets. I put in different cabinets. I went in and I had my floor, or even before they put it in, it was built the same way. So if whoever got these houses when they were built, they probably said, what do you want on the inside? So the outside, the starting price was probably the same for the shell of it. So in this one, we're going to put the builder grade. And this person said, you know what? I don't want that. It might look the certain way on the outside, but I want you to give me this type of flooring on the inside. I want this type of cabinetry. I want these types of appliances. I want this texture on my ceilings. I want this type of lighting. I want this type of shower. I want this type of tub. And then when we come to now decorating it, all right, one person, okay, I had to just bring over all the furniture that I have and I had in my apartment. I'm not quite ready. But then the person over here is like, baby, I'm finna furnish this thing. I'm finna furnish this thing down. All new everything. That blueprint made them seem like they were the same. But the money that was spent, the value that they put on the things that they added to that was different. So pricing is going to be different. You have to look at what your capacity is. What are your goals? What level of expertise do you have? The thing that you are making, does it have real value? And I'm sorry to tell y'all, foam board don't have a whole lot of value because it's something that is considered to be temporary for most, especially since some of y'all like using Dollar Tree foam board. I'm just saying. You want to invest an extra 70. Y'all, when I was teaching foam board, the foam board that I was getting at the time was $1.81. And you had the Dollar Tree foam board, right? 99 cents. Where it was some that were like, I don't want to spend an extra 81 cents to have something that's a little bit more sturdy. Now you're more so in the range of $1.25 to like $2. My foam board is so expensive. You acting like you spending $10 for one little sheet. But that is something that's going to break apart your technique in putting it together. You didn't even use a quality technique. You didn't maybe use glue and then tape, like you wanted to rush it to put it together, where somebody took time and there was craftsmanship with it. I have foam board structure that I've had literally for 11 years, going on 12, because of the way that it was put together. It wasn't just slapped together with a glue gun. The tools that I use to make sure that no foam was showing is different. Y'all have to stop comparing somebody else's pricing to yours. You need the education on how to properly price, understanding the market, maybe asking some damn questions. What do they value? Like, are they really going to spend money on this? Like, do they put value in it? For them, are they looking at it like, okay, I mean, it's cool, but it's just, I mean, the stuff that's in is what my child care about. Do I really care about this? But because you took all this time learning, it was the new fad, it was a new thing, and you go and you do it. Like, that person may have, I'm telling you, a lot of times they make these things, they might be for their kid. Of course, their kid's gonna love it. There was no money, like there was no cost put to this. So they made it. Oh my God, it's amazing. It was for a family, it's for my niece or whatever. Like, I just wanted to be different. But they brought these things as a DIY, DIM. I call it DIM, do it myself. They did a DIM project. They were able to get the $2 phone board. They were able to get this print that was like $5. They weren't worried about paying themselves. They made it. It looks amazing. Their child, their niece, their family, their friend, whoever, they're going to love it. But they're going to take that stuff out and it's done. I know we like to think, oh, these kids have such a great imagination. They're going to go, they're going to use it. They're going to play pretend. And that parent, me, is going to be like, if you don't throw that ish in the garbage, because it's in the way. You don't open it and close it so much. And it was made so cheap. Now the dough fell off. Now it just becomes junk. Because of course you can't sell it for the exact same price that you brought the materials, because in business you want to make a profit. They might find value and they think it's cute if they're going to DIY it, but they don't always value your time. The most important thing in business, when you are doing something that requires you to really assemble something one by one, piece by piece, is going to be your time. If you are new to it, yes, it's going to take you more time. Should your customers pay the price because you are just learning it? You don't know all the techniques because you wanted to watch the 15-minute class. You wanted to watch the tutorial that got straight to the point. You didn't want to watch the training. You didn't want to sit through the lessons without actively doing something when someone tried to tell you and give you the warnings about, okay, well, this type of paper is going to print out like this if you're printing it on this type of printer. There's different types of printer. There's dye ink, there's pigment ink, there's toner, there's eco-solvent ink, there's latex ink, there's solvent ink. These all will give you a different result. Is it on matte paper? Is it on glossy paper? Is it on luster? Is it printed at high? These are all different factors that's going to make these come out different. But you didn't want to hear about all of that. How I just make this thing? This video too long. I can't, oh my God, I'm too busy. I got work. I got to be able to make this money. I can't sit through a class. I can't sit through all of that. That's what April said. But Keisha sat through every last one of those classes. She gave herself time to build out that business. It was a passion. Hey, if I get a little bit of money here and there, she gave herself time to understand the process. And even with me being an a subject matter expert, like I can do this with my eyes closed. I now know exactly how long it will take, as somebody that's experienced, how to do this. So I can now properly price this and price for my labor and my time. I can properly price it. Some of you guys are pricing to where at the end of the day, once it's all said and done, for your time, you are getting paid less than what they paid them folk to flip fries at McDonald's. Because you don't understand business. You don't understand the factors. You were never exposed to the things that matter when it comes to pricing. We think we can just slap a price on it and everybody's just supposed to accept your pricing. It doesn't work that way, because it don't even work that way for you as a consumer. The next time you want to get puffed up in your chest because someone rejected your price, I want you to seriously think about the last time you rejected someone's price. I want you to think about whether or not every time, an opportunity to purchase something was exposed to you, did you automatically go and swipe your card? I know you did, because every last one of y'all are not enrolled in my trainings. There is something that's keeping you from enrolling in it. no matter what the cost is, whether it's affordable, if it's high price, if you might feel like, and I'll tell you, for some of y'all prices, it's not even too high. Because someone doesn't go with you, you assume sometimes, because they don't always say, oh no, that's more than I want to spend, that's expensive. That's not always the case. They're just like, okay, no, no, thank you. Sometimes folks are like, this is too good to be true. There's no way I wanted all of this and this is your price. Oh, baby, I don't trust you. I don't trust that you are going to be able, because if you don't know that this really is worth more, I don't trust you. And they're just going to say, okay, no, thank you. But you're in your mind thinking that, oh, dang it, I was too expensive. But you never bothered to ask them why they didn't. Y'all are ashamed. You're like, oh, it's my business. It's this. Like, it's always, oh, my price is my price. It can be. But if your price isn't producing results, it might be time for you to figure out why. With your price being your price, you're not converting. Some people don't have it. I've had classes, I've had sessions, $13, and some people don't have. Look, my money tight. Now, mind you, they went and got that printer. They steady buying them blanks. They got a whole, they got $13 worth of stuff in that craft closet, in that craft room. But they ain't have enough. They ain't got $13 to pay to get some information and knowledge because it wasn't valuable to them. They did not put value in that. I know my worth. I know that the information might be more. So for me, if I price it lower, I'm focusing on volume. If I have to talk to the same, like for the same amount of time, for an hour, but I'm able to talk to 100 paying people, even if it's at $13 for an hour, how much money did that make me for that hour? Now, if it's somebody that's like, hey, I'm working with you one-on-one, the price has to now be higher because that one person now has to pay for all of my time that I am worth for that 1 hour. That responsibility now, like that burden or that price now falls on you. If I need to make $10,000 a month, but I don't want to go one to many, I don't want to teach 10 people for $1,000 for this month. I'm only teaching one person, but I know I still need I need 10,000, but I only have one client. Then guess what? I need you to pay $10,000 and everybody else not going to be able to pay that. But what do you even know? Do you have in mind, like what your business is built on, what the structure is, what your mission is, what your purpose is? Most of you don't. So that's why you're struggling with pricing because you're doing, it's like fly by night. You're just doing this randomly. Oh, it's something that I love to do. It's my passion. I see other people making money. I want to make money, but then you don't understand everything that goes on behind the scenes. So you're not pricing properly. The same way that you are going to reject paying $593 to join our mentorship program is the same reason why something that will teach you things that will last a lifetime. It'll probably be the same reason why somebody's not paying you $593.65 for your graduation package that they will use in their mind. It's for one day. You are, even though you are a business owner, you are still a consumer. So I want you to sometimes put on your consumer hat before you shame someone about not patronizing with you, because you had opportunities as well that you didn't take advantage of. When the person says, okay, well, you can pay $593 all up front for 1 year's access, or it's 6 months of teaching, but you have access to the information for a year, or you can pay for it monthly. You can use buy now, pay later and pay that off monthly, but there's something in you that's like, okay, I'm not going to pay that. Your customers, your clientele, I'm not going to say they're not your customers because they ain't paid you nothing. Your potential customers and potential clients are going through the same thing. How are you presenting it to them? Some people say this is the wrong way, right? There's going to be something that's like, okay, yeah, you do the live videos, but do you have the reach to really get those numbers? Like to get the number of people that you want enrolled? Do you currently have the reach? And I will say no. Then it's like, okay, If I'm not getting it organically, what do I have to do? Which is why I'm trying to figure out now. Like, I tried ads, didn't quite work. So now I have to go and put them in ads. The way my audience was and the way I operated was a little bit different like a few years ago, and I can do certain things. Now I have to kind of change that up. Now I have to go in and maybe do more funnel type situations and put more things like where they can go and they can look at this information. But do I have the capacity to do that? No. So then I have to now go and make the decision to get somebody else to do that who's not just using all AI, because then it's very hard to convert that, change that, and anybody got time for that. But let's start another day. But there are decisions that you're going to have to make in business. And if you are hesitating on spending money and making those decisions for your business to get to your goals, to get exposed to the information, the strategies, and to get the guidance in areas where you are not strong at, you can't fault those who inquire with you but don't book with you. You can't fault them because you were presented with the exact same opportunity. Okay. Let's see here. I do see some comments. I'm trying to do so many things, so I don't communicate that well what I really do. I can sew, I do shirts, tumblers, grab fans, signs, stoles, yard signs. Okay, so you do all these things, but one person may not need all these things. Do y'all know everything that I do? Does anybody know like everything that I am able to do? What all do I teach? When I'm in certain spaces, I'm only going to bring up certain things. I may not lay out my entire resume. I may not need to be the one-stop shop for every single aspiring business owner because I can only do so much. I want to meet your need, like where you are and what you need. Like I have the ability to be able to help you with that. So if you start to ask questions about what's most important, then you will know, like out of all of those things, they don't care that you can sew. I don't have anything that I need for you to sew. But I do need some tumblers and some mugs. And then that's the thing that you are going to highlight. And you're going to give them information about the different mugs, whether it's like vinyl. Now you can really go into just that one thing. Hey, we have different mugs that fit different price points, depending on the look that you want. If somebody wants glitter, you can't just offer them sublimation mugs if they want a true glitter look. It needs to have a component on it that it's glistening and things of that nature. If you are unable to do that and all you do is sublimation, I wish y'all stop letting people make y'all feel like because you don't do every single type of mug, you're not going to be successful. You are now just going to have to work and communicate that I provide this type of mug. If you want one that you are able to put a full graphic picture on here without rhinestones, without glitter, and this is all that I'm able to do that. There are companies that just want the screen print. They just want their logo on it. They don't care about all that other stuff. And it's okay if you can, but if you are someone that does epoxy and spray paint or rhinestones and like all these other things, then now you talk to them about all the different options. What is like, your economy? What's your next level? And the next level, like up until your luxury or your elite or your higher. So now they want a mug, but they want that entire mug covered in rhinestones. That's a different value than just having a mug where it just has your name on it. I want my name on it, but I want my name in black rhinestones, and I want cyan, magenta, yellow cascading. I want them to blend in. So I want you to go and kind of, one color should blend in. I want that around the entire mug because I don't put my mug up to my lips anyway. Because some people might look at me like, how you gonna drink from that? You gonna have I don't use mine like this. I'm dainty. I'm going to put a straw in it. So it can be rhinestone encrusted because I'm not going to sip from it anyway. I have a really nice, like customized stainless steel straw that I had, specifically made for me. It's not this big one. I have really small. They have a plan for it. So they want what they want. We'll go and it's like, because we're like, well, why would you want that? Because how are you going to drink from that? It's people that don't understand, people that do glitter wine glasses. Why would you want to put your mouth on glitter? Oh my God, that's just so not safe. You put Mod Podge. Somebody's going to complain about everything. But all you have to do is communicate the different options that you have for mugs. They don't care that you sew. They don't care that you make t-shirts. They really don't care about those things if all they need in this moment is this. And if they do need shirts, they may have already secured somebody because maybe the person that they went to, they like those shirts, but it's like, oh, I need mugs as well, because maybe they got to you secondary, because in your posting, you're not putting enough. You don't have somewhere where they can see, if they wanted to take a glance at what you are able to do. Do you have that? Even if it's just in social media. I train my students on how to leverage social media where someone can get a snapshot look at what all you can do. So they went to that person, okay, I do shirts, I don't do mugs. So now they had to come to you. Oh, yes, I do shirts, whatever. Okay, but I don't need shirts. Like, they just get the mugs from you. And then you get all mad because when you see them post their stuff, I thought they said they didn't need shirts. They let somebody else do it. They've already had them booked. You don't even know what's going on, and you already angry and you're upset because you didn't get that part of it. But they gave you something. But y'all don't even celebrate those wins. It's like, to some of y'all, it's not a win unless you are doing everything for that order. Celebrate the win in what you have. You were able to be in the building. You were able to be represented at this event. It could have been they didn't book with you at all. You ain't got nothing at this event. You ain't put nothing in the hands of somebody new, because you're worried about the fact that they got one element from somebody else. Oh, they cheat. They can't afford me. No, I just happened to go to them first. The same way that you want support, you think you're the only business owner that I know? The same way you're hollering support small. Also, you're hollering support small businesses, but is it really that you only want people to support your small business? Because if it supports small businesses, why are we upset that the wealth was spread out amongst several small businesses? I got a theory on why some people tell you how to be one-stop shop and learn this and do that or whatever, but I'm going to keep that to myself. So don't worry about the fact that you do everything. Learn how to read the room. That is a skill. Learn to ask questions to find out what it is that you should be presenting to them. Because I'll tell you, I'm in a space and they're quick to ask, what is it that you do? And I have now learned, I'm just going to say one thing, because I've seen them do it to others. When you go and you list all the things that you have done, like, dude, I'm not 18. I'll be 45 this year. I started this journey 26 years ago when I got introduced to graphic designing. 25 years ago, I was able to intern at a radio station to start this thing. When I'm thinking about marketing and how business, like my first real example of seeing the inside of a business and how many people it took to run this business. That was 25 years ago. I've studied and I've researched and I've practiced and I've done all these things in 26 years. So yes, there's a lot of things that I'm great at. There's a lot of things I can help people with. But the moment that you go and say, well, yep, I know I can help you with when it comes to like understanding websites and breaking down the different websites, breaking down pricing. I know Silhouette Studio. I know Photoshop. I know Canva. I know how to cut foam board and put things together. So if you're going to use foam board for cutouts, for boxes, if it's party favors, I've done decorations, I've done balloons, I've done all these things. But the moment you say all of that, oh my God, you're just all over the place. No one's going to know what to come to you for. I don't need for them to know what to come to me for, because I put out these Easter eggs. And when I'm in front of certain people, I ask questions and I'm able to communicate what it is that I do, what I offer that will service your needs, that will fulfill the needs that you want. What is that you're wanting? I'm able to facilitate that because I can read the room. I don't let people shame me for being, what do they say? They like to say, jack of all trades, master of none. Baby, I'm a master of a whole lot. And I don't let people shame me in that. I know how to read the room and bring up what all I need, like, so in certain instances, because I talk to that particular audience or that particular person, they know that person knows me for X, Y, and Z. They're going to refer me for X, Y, and Z. And then now that they're in my ecosystem, I have the opportunity to expose them and to share the other things I do just in case they might need those services. But I know how to make sure that someone knows me for something, because I'm not just starting out. There are people that know me for a particular thing. Like, these things have added on, not in 26 days, not in 26 weeks, not in 26 months, 26 years. So there's people that know me from when I was doing parties and events, and they still to this day refer people to me. And I'm like, no, I don't do them anymore right now. Like, I'm not currently doing events and balloons, but that's what someone knew me from for back in the day. And I will still get referrals to this day. I don't really do a whole lot online when it comes to fans, like graduation stuff. You want to know why? Because all the people that I dedicated my time, my energy when it came to graduation stuff, they're referring me out. I haven't posted anything about graduation, and I already got orders. Ain't posted not a nary about graduation, because somebody who I sold it to them, when I dealt with them for their order for graduation, I did it with so much care. Like, I acted like that was the only order that I had. And they understand, for a great graduation experience, and you want your designs a certain way, you got to go to Kia, and they're going to refer every single time. When you are communicating with someone about what they want in that moment, you need to be the subject matter expert and make it seem as if that is the only thing that you do, because that is all they might care about in that moment. Now, if you want them to know about other things, why do you always have to say it? Because now you might be annoying to them. Oh my God, you're trying to sell me. Like what I have my students doing, building out resources that you are able to do. Like, your process will be to include this informational resource or this link that goes somewhere where they can see the other things for the next time. Do we really want a customer to be a one-time customer? We have things that we can offer them. All right, we want you to come back. This time you got this, but the next time I need you to come back and get X, Y, and Z. I've had students that they came to me, they got silhouette training. Guess what? Now we're doing business. I don't want you to just be focused on the silhouette training. I want you to come back and I want you to enroll in this creative business mentorship program. You don't have to release the clip every time. That's all I'm saying. I enjoy the crafting just in my quiet space. And then that's the thing too. If you're being honest with that, don't feel the pressure to make it this business. Maybe that's for April. She's like, it's not a full on, like, this is not a make or break for me. I'm not that aggravated with my job to where this has to be my bread and butter. I'm great at it. And if I can make some money off of it, cool. And it's okay if that is where you are. Even if you give it a name, it's okay to kind of separate it from who you are, being Michelle, and you want that to have a certain name. That way you can turn it on and off. Hey, if you're communicating me, if you want to communicate with me about purchasing one of these are the avenues, and I can turn that off. I don't have to answer it. But when you want to go and you want to just talk to me as being Michelle, all right, cool. We can just chop it up. Everything is not going to be business, and that is fine. If you want to turn on when you want to sell it and when you don't have to worry about the pressures of everything. Now, if you have this thing in your mind to where if at some point I might need this to be my bread and butter, you invest in the education. That way you already have that under your belt and you're not trying to learn it on the fly when you actually need it. Enrolling in this creative mentorship program, you may not be full on business right now, but it might be something that you want to do once you hit retirement. You're like, for you, I know I'm not going to be able to just to sit home. I have to be able to do something. I'm not going to want to rely just on a retirement check or a Social Security check. Like, I need to be able to do something. Then guess what? You'll already have the information, the tools, the resources, and you're not learning it when it's harder to learn and process things. It takes money to make money. Keeping it real is certainly the truth, and you are telling it like it is. I don't like when people say you don't know your worth. I don't know why, but I don't like that statement because we're all worth something. Like what you make shouldn't be attached to your worth, because there are things that are going to be low ticket items. Car dealerships show this. It's like they know their worth, but they might have they have different classes and models of cars. Doesn't mean that company as a whole isn't worth anything. Like I hate that, because I feel like they're just reducing people down to what someone can or cannot pay. I absolutely hate it. Let's see here. I had someone tell me that because they knew my cousin and my cousin was ordering a shirt, that I should give them a discount. I told them, give them a discount. I told her my family never asked for discounts. Hello. She's not the 5-day challenge. Let's see. Where do we enroll? Well, so glad you asked, Jamie. There is a link in the description of this video. So you may have to come out. I'll sometimes you can click on it if I add it to the comment section for YouTube. Sometimes you can't, but it is in the description. So if you click out of the live chat and you go to the actual description for this video, it is going to be in there. There's going to be 2 links there. There's one that is directly to our Academy site. And on that one, you can choose to use buy now, pay later, such as Affirm, Klarna, or Afterpay. You all can do like Cash App. You can do PayPal. You can do your regular credit card. And then there is a second link that's on there that goes to our shop site, like our main, like really like you'll see summation paper, like all that stuff like on there as well. But especially if you're a returning customer, you've purchased from us before, you probably have rewards points. You can go in there, you can either redeem all of them, and it's going to give you some money off. Even if it's $10, it's $20 off, you're able to use those rewards points towards that purchase. And guess what? That purchase is still going to produce more rewards points for you to be able to use that towards other classes that we have on there, other digital products that we have on there. If you are in need of summation paper, you're able to use it for that as well. So there are 2 links in the description. One for multiple buy now, pay later options. Like I said, Klarna, Afterpay, and Affirm. And then the second one is through our shop site, where you can use Apple Pay, Google Pay, PayPal, Sezzle, your regular credit card, and things of that nature. And also use your rewards points. I need all of this today. Yes, that is me right now. I'm April. She is me. Let's see. Good morning. I was just saying this and why I price the way I price. Good morning, the Stitching Studio. How art thou? So before I get off, this is now your opportunity. If you can't join the class, if you have a specific question about pricing, go ahead and drop it in the chat. So I'll field a few questions. So I'm going to put a cap on it this time and say the first 5 questions that I get about pricing. Like if you want some help, if you want to see, is she just talking a whole lot of smack, or can she back it up? Can she back up all this that she just dropped on us? Can she back it up? So if you happen to have a question about pricing, and I'm being very clear, like I've answered general questions. This is not a general question Q&A. If you have a specific question about pricing, drop it in the comments, and I'm going to turn on the air because for some reason it is hot up in here. I was like starting to sweat. Jesus, please hold. Baby, I know you like, I have no idea what ghost was up in here. I live in Miami. That thermostat says 79. I don't know what ghost is up in here, But whoever touched that and put it at 79, they better go on. Cause what's her name? Indescribable say? You can go to hell. Shoot. The professor always backs up her ish. I know that's right. No questions. If you have no questions to ask now, or you are afraid to, but you know that you are struggling with pricing, you know that you are that person that's like, I just don't know about my price. I don't know if I'm charging too little, not enough. You really do need help, guys. You need some type of mentorship. You need for someone who will listen to what you have the capacity to do, what your goals are, what you have in your possession, what you are able to pump out and produce to help you set realistic goals and how to get to that. A lot of you guys will feel like your pricing isn't aligned and it isn't in alignment because you want to have a certain amount by the end of the week, at the end of the month, and you haven't quite gotten there. So it's like, oh, I need to increase my prices to get there, but you might just need to increase your efforts to be able to get more clientele in. Okay. I know, right? I was like 79. Okay, so what would be the pricing strategy for a custom 10 by 10 tent print? I use an outside print company. So are you are you designing it, or are you designing it, or are you just facilitating the order? Are you, maybe they have a design but you are setting it up to be properly printed correctly? What is, okay, so you are designing it. So in this scenario where you are going to do a 10 by 10 print and you're going to outsource the print is not it's not where you're making your money at. You're going to make your money in the design process. What is it taking you, like what level of expertise do you have when it comes to designing? Have you put a price on your hourly rate? Because if you are like, I am a master designer, this is what I do, this is my expertise, like my designs are so bomb, like if it's for someone's business, you're helping them with their branding and things of that nature, your design rate is where you are going to make your money at. You don't print the tent. That is not where you should be seeking to make a huge profit, like make money off of. So for some, when they go and they outsource it, whatever that amount is, they might throw on a little something because they're facilitating. You still have to go and upload the order and process it and do all these things. So it's almost like let's say it's like an administrative fee, a service fee to go and complete that service. So you might put something on that to be able to make money from it. Should it be double that amount? Not quite. Like you're not doing anything with that. Like that outside, like that company is going to complete the work. It would be different if from that company they gave you this price. You now need to complete, like you have to go and do something else to complete it and to create the finished product. Then you want to apply your different markups and like your labor, your overhead, and blah, 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 blah. But right now, all you will really need is like that service fee that's going to cover part of like the overhead. You're going to get like a slight markup on it, but they're facilitating the final product. That is not where you are going to take your money from. Now, your design part of it, I don't know what your design skills are, right? So I can't say, I pretty much communicate with you via YouTube. I don't know if you have a YouTube channel that showcases your things. Maybe you follow me on Facebook. If you do, send me a message and I can kind of look at your work or whatever. But it's like, are you what programs are you, not even say like what programs you're using, because you can make some really cool things with Canva as well, as far as like just kind of arranging things. but it's about your skill level. What is the value of your skill level when it comes to designing? How much time do you spend in the process? Like, do you have this process of, you have to conceptualize and you have to go and research certain things? Like, this is time that's spent really making sure that you understand their design. Like, what's your consultation process? Well, not say consultation, but like once you secure, if you're going to do a deposit, whatever, and you're now talking through like what they want this design to be. Are you doing 30 minutes? Are you giving them an hour? You should be compensated for that time. Once you go and you design it, you need to be compensated for that. Then you're going to go and present it. How do you present the final mock-up to them? Are you doing it in a manner where it's like, hey, let's jump on a video call? That way I can show this to you. We can talk through it. So if you're doing it in a way where you are actually spending 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, don't probably need an hour to go through this, you need to be compensated. For some, that experience becomes worth it in how you're handling the situation. But if you're someone was, okay, I designed it, I'm going to send this to you, you're going to review it, I'm not doing anything, I'm now over here doing a different task to make money for this hour, and you're not spending dedicated time with that client, then your price is going to be different, because you just sent it out. Okay, hey, go look over that, send me back and say, okay, yay, nay, yes, no, maybe so. And then there's going to be changes to it. If you have a certain number of reviews and changes built in, and now you have to go in and make the changes that they have requested, you have this time frame. And if you're going to say like, okay, it's small changes where okay, I can make these adjustments within an hour, it might be whatever that your hourly rate is going to be, included in like that whole package. If you want to maybe do that based off of like, giving yourself 2-hour review window and being able to do that, like actually working on it. And then anything after that will be additional. So that's not a part of like that initial design fee. You're going to give them one review, one revision or whatever. And then you have to go through this process again. What is your process like? What is the customer experience like? People will pay more what feels like an exclusive, curated experience where I'm getting your undivided attention. You are walking me through exactly what you did, where we're talking about this in real time. I'm able to communicate to you in real time what it is that I don't quite like, but you have this special power where even if they are not quite clear, you can process it. And it's like, okay, boom, I see it. You're going to do it. Oh my God. That's what I was thinking, but I couldn't express it. That's a unique thing to some people, and they're willing to pay for that. But if you don't have this curated experience and it's kind of like, okay, I design, you're going to just send me an email. We don't have a really discussion about it because some folks don't like consultations or whatever. We're just going to you're just going to tell me, okay, I need da-da-da-da. You just send me the pictures. You have a website where you're not discussing the pictures that they're sending, the type of images. You're just like, oh no, I got it on my website. I got it. So you can just upload your images on there. You don't have any type of processing. Your pricing is going to be different. But you have to determine the value of the design experience with someone choosing you to design for their tent. Is it something that's really complicated where you now have to figure out the spacing? If it's going to be like for a full tent, you have to design for each panel so that you're now accounting for all of the seam margins, so that you're not putting major things in that area, so that now when it's sewn together, that part isn't being cut off. Is it just one design? Is it just to go around the perimeter? That's one thing. But now if I have to go and I have to design for this panel and this panel and this panel and making sure that everything lines up when it's sewn together, that's a different design experience. That's a different design job. So that's why it's hard. Like, I know it may not be the answer. Like, some people want direct answers, but because I've been in this industry for so long, I don't look at things as black and white and just say that, oh, all designing is the same, because it's not. When I design, okay, quick example. There was someone in a group, right? They had these like the vending machine designs available, right? And people were upset because I guess it wasn't properly communicated that it was just for the front. Now, there is someone that teaches vending machines and they're like, oh, I'm not doing no full wrap and all of that, whatever. Like their pricing is reflective of the fact that they only put a design on the front, because who really cares about the sides? But some people will design for the sides and put it on there. So designing now for 1, 2, 3, 4 sections is different than designing for one or printing out like one. When I did that Easter box, which, pioneer of making it's the cake box, and I did it for Zion Imani. I was trying to see if there was one in here, and I had to cover all 4 sides. That's different than just doing the front. I had to design those and make sure that it fit within there. I had to make sure that the design fit in the window. I did that for my child. I don't know if there's someone that's going to be willing to pay the value of that just for the design, for me to go and set this up and make sure that everything is correct and I'm designing it where make sure it fits the window and doing all these different things just to design it. I might be charging you $150 because of my time, and we're not even including the print, putting on the box, nothing in it, just the design. It might be harder for me in like my current reach, and where I'm not speaking to celebrities or high earning individuals where they give their kids the world and they love custom. My reach might be to someone that's going to be like, ain't no way in hell I'm ever spending $125 just for the design to go onto a box that this child is going to snatch the things out of it and crush that box and not think about that box. You think I'm gonna pay $125 for that? But there is somebody somewhere who was like, shoot, sign me up. I'm paying for anything custom. I don't care if it's going in the garbage. I want my child to have something that is one of a kind that nobody else has. I will spare no expense for my child to have one of a kind. There are layers to this. So now the question is not just how much do we charge for this? Who is this for? Do we know the type, or do we ask them their budget? So if they have a budget in mind, do you already have, like, you already pre-think through plans of, okay, for that budget, could you get this entire thing like design? No. So for that budget, we're going to give you an amazing design, but it might just be designs for 2 panels, maybe all 4 panels, like going around the side. In a custom business, sometimes you have to ask what somebody's budget is, and y'all are afraid to ask that. Y'all just want to be like, my price is my price. Well, your price don't work with my budget, so peace out, and don't be talking about me on social media. Do I have any courses on Photoshop? So I don't teach designing per se, like full on. Like we've done some things, but it is an understanding. So although I have advanced skills in Photoshop, I've designed obituaries, I've designed billboards, I've designed t-shirts, and I've done photo editing in Photoshop, and I do all those things. I choose not to teach those because it's so much to it. Like, and some people see the things I do and they want to do that. And like, oh, how can I learn this as a beginner? As a beginner, you have to learn the tools. So my Photoshop training is about understanding. Most of my classes are about understanding. I have advanced skills, but I choose to teach the A to D. I'm not teaching you A to Z, but I can definitely teach you, or I choose to teach A to D. Now, if we kind of get past that, like you want to learn other things and you kind of work this, now you understand it, and it's not this I have to kind of teach from the beginning, we can probably work on design. This is where people start to book one-on-one sessions with me for specific designs and just understand those different things. There's that opportunity. But as far as the course and the training that I have, it is meant to get you from A to D because it teaches you the foundation, where these buttons are, so that you're not confused when you go in there. It's something that you need to be able to practice on and get really familiar with the tools and functions. So that is the level of Photoshop that I teach. And some people just don't value that. And I know that I shoot myself in the foot by explaining it that way, because some people want to take a class and in their mind it's like, oh, you're going to be, people advertise, you're going to be you're going to be designing like a professional just from my one class. That's a lot. because there's no way in that 1 4-hour class, 2-hour class, or whatever that you had, that they're going to understand everything. They're going to be able to design, or maybe that one thing that you showed them really, really well, but the moment they want to go do something else and it requires a different tool that you never showed them, they're not going to know what to do. So I am truly your first line of defense, your first line of education when it comes to Canva, when it comes to Photoshop, when it comes to Silhouette Studio, using cutting machines, when it comes to foam board, or just like any of the creative things, making t-shirts, when it comes to just understanding business and the things that you may not be thinking about, that you need to know and understand, so that you don't end up like, some of the business that we see, they're kind of having some issues. I am your first line of education, your first line of defense for knowledge. I'm your A to D. And on that, if you go to, on either one of those sites, once you go there, if you go to the search if you click on either of those links that's in the description, and you click on the search bar and you type in Photoshop, the training will come up no matter which site you choose. You've always preached the importance of having different price points. Exactly. And that's something that's going to remain a constant throughout time. Like, you have to have either different, you have to have different price points. If you're trying to appeal to the masses, you have to have different price points. If you're like, I am this exclusive brand and it's for this, I'm not ever selling anything. Hermes doesn't sell $5 bags. They cater their business to, they might have different ranges within these bags where a middle class person like, that's still too expensive. But to others, it's like, a difference between 10,000 and 30,000. Somebody that don't have 10,000 to spend, even though they consider 10,000 to be their least expensive, like that's their cheap bag. Somebody else is like, oh, hell no, that's a lot for a bag. But they do have different ranges because things are made differently. There are different materials. It requires different processes of dyeing it, sewing it, different buckles, different layouts. So they have different prices. You are going to have different prices for different things. Appreciate you keeping it real. Thank you. You are very welcome. I would consider the design work to be an hourly task. So here's the thing with it becoming an hourly task is when someone is like, if it's an hourly task of you doing actual work, even through like the brainstorming and things of that nature, like for me, I know like how much time I want to give towards like brainstorming, and that cost might be a little bit different than actually executing it. And that's no different than if you had different employees. You're not paying a regular staff worker the same as you would pay a supervisor. You're not paying a supervisor the same that you would pay a manager. You're not paying a manager the same amount of money that you would pay a director. Like, so there's different levels to it. So like if I'm in the like research type phase, I'm doing all this stuff, I'm like that rate on my line item internally, I'm not giving the client my line item, like how much, for each part of it. You just get one big, one total. But I've calculated these things and I know like, okay, for something like this, it's going to require me to kind of think. So like the amount is going to be a little bit different. So I have different tiers for designs. If I'm starting from something like a template that I already have, but I still have to go in and tweak and do things like that, then there's a price for that. If I'm like doing like semi-custom, there's a price for that. If I'm doing full-on custom, there's a price for that. And then it varies, like custom for a t-shirt is different than custom for an obituary. That's 8 pages. That price point is going to be very different. If I'm designing a design suite for someone's business and I have all these different components, that's different than designing for a single shirt or a single stole, or even if I'm using like the same thing for a shirt and a stole, like it's different than that. So I have different rates for different people. Well, not for different people, for different design tasks. So I can't really say it's going to be hourly because the value of it is different. Even sometimes if it takes the same amount of time. It can take the same amount of time, but maybe the elements and the resources that I had to use, they cost more for this design versus something else. So It's, to me, it's not all hourly. You need to have an hourly rate, but that's not the only determining factor when it comes to designing. All right, so there was only one question about pricing. So hopefully I'll see you guys in the training. Who here knows that they need mentorship? You know that you need mentorship. You know that you want to take it to, even if it's just one level higher in 2026. Oh, she said, how do you feel about combos? I feel like a gremlin and you just poured water on me. They laugh because they know. It's like the little gremlins, and like, you have now just poured water. I am no longer Gizmo. All right, so let's break this down, right? About okay. No, for real though. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. There is a time and a place for bundles and combos. It's very interesting you called it combos, because think about fast food restaurants and things like that. Like they have all of these things a la carte, and then they're going to have this kind of like, they're going to have the combo as well. And there is a certain psychology behind that. We just talked about this on our pro call yesterday. When it comes to getting a single item and then pairing it, but you're pairing it with other things, but like in a fast food setting, you're not making the soda like on site, right? So you have this burger, right? You have these fries because they were made in this large batch. So whether it's going to an individual person, if we put it with this value meal, like, it's not like, for you personally, I am chopping up the potatoes and, turning them into like fry shapes, and I'm doing all, like, it's in a bag, I'm dropping it in, it's gonna cook. This can be for an it's not customized, right? So that's in a sense where something can be put kind of in a combo because it's not really customized. I can sell this individually, I can sell it separate, and whether this went into the bag for someone, just like these fries, they just wanted fries, or it was in the combo. When it comes to like the drink, I can make this combo. I'm not making and doing all the mixture of the soda. It's in a BIB. I'm gonna press a button, it's gonna come down. Like, there's no real extra work to be able to give you more in this one transaction, because we're not doing extra just for you, right? We're making it, it's a convenience to be able to get this whole meal. And if you really, really break it down, like, if you've never done it, take whatever your favorite meal is from whatever restaurant. The next time you go, if you can't like sit there and do it, take some pictures and then really break down what the cost difference is if you were to buy each thing individually, and then when it's in this meal, how much you are selling. I mean, what the difference is. Like, if you've never done that, do that, right? But when it comes to making customized items, so someone's like, I'm going, like, okay, you have a shirt, you have a tumbler, you have a stole, you have a grad cap topper, and for some, let's say a yard sign. Each one of these things requires a lot of work. Like, to just go design it, you're printing it out, you have like it's requiring a lot of different things that may not be used. Like with fries, that's going to stay on, and I'm using that, and it's going to service a lot of people. This grill has to be on to be used for burgers, for chicken, for whoever, whatever. Like, it has multiple uses. But if you come and I have to turn on the heat press just for that one thing, then I have to go, and it's also me by myself. So it's not like I'm passing it off to someone, and I have to do the okay, let's say even with the stole, like, okay, now it has to be printed out. I have to press this and say, like, you're doing a lot more work. Even when it comes to the design of it, it's not the same, right? The same design. You have to make it fit that layout, that template, like that sizing. And it's going to be different for each one of these, unless you're going to be a lazy designer and you want to just stretch and skew. You had this design that was kind of inside of a square, but then you wanted to make this banner. So all you did was take that same one and just stretch it. So now their face looks like when they went to the rich auntie's house on Crooklyn. When they were in Brooklyn, it was normal, but they went to the auntie house and now they're all stretched. This is what your designs look like, because you're not taking the time to actually go and set up for it because you don't know how to. It requires more work. So giving these these crazy discounts for these bundles, it's kind of crazy to me, because you're now doing more work for less money when it's just you. That's number one, right? Number two, how can I say it? Like, this is something that's different than, okay, you're going to consume all this. Like, it's too, I don't know how to like really explain that. Like, okay, you go, you get like a burger, a fry, a drink. Okay, you're hungry. Like, all this is going to just kind of go in your mouth. But it's like, you have all of these different things and people have different needs. So it's like, if you go and you have this package, it's okay if you're like, okay, I'm going to stick to this. You can't deviate from it. But it, like, let's say, okay, we have this, and then now they want something else, or they want but okay, like, how can I put it? I don't have a yard, right? So you're like, my package is this, and a yard sign. I live in an apartment. I don't have a yard to put this in. Some will be like, okay, well, you still have to, you still have to take this, even though you don't, or whatever. Hell, if you want, you can put a string on it and hang it from somewhere else. Like, you have to figure out the option that you want for this, but this is how it comes. You're kind of locking people in sometimes. And some people get so stuck on bundles because in their mind, oh, if I sell more of these, I'm reaching my goal faster. And they don't want to communicate. They don't want to talk to people to figure out what they want and curate an invoice for it. If you're making the bundles because you don't really want, you feel like it's easy for them just to click this, but then when they have questions, they want something different. If you don't want to be bothered, then bundles becomes a problem for me. But the main thing for me is people tend to give out too many discounts because you're putting multiple items together. When I'm teaching in mine, there's only one thing that we discount. Well, if you decide to, like, let's say I'll give out certain discounts, like they put all things together and it's going to seem like they're getting a discount, but my students know. Let's see. I'll if they say it, then I'll confirm it. But for those of you, if you have ever taken any one of my pricing for profit, any of my business classes, where does that perceived discount come from? Where does that perceived discount come from? Sweetie! Who pays attention? If you've ever taken one of my classes, or do I have any students on here? Where does that discount come from? If no one says, I'm not going to confirm it for you. You got to take the class to find out. But yeah, I'm not all in favor of discounts and combos. One, graduation it's very unique. Yeah, it's very unique. Well, okay, you know what? I can't assume that you're talking about graduation. So let's talk like, and when I was doing event planning, did I have like I've had set packages. I, for like balloon, like it was, and it'll be like it's for certain things. So like you may have like um balloons and a certain number of what's those things called? Linen or chair covers and things of that nature to make it like really easy to kind of like just order that. All of these things kind of come in it. But all of the customized things, I did not really do any type of set packages for it because I found that every person was different. That's just been my experience in this thing, is that when it comes to customize, everything is like every person is different. We have packages, I guess you would say, or like bundles for like, let's say our summation paper and our ink. They come like, if you're just brand new, you need summation ink, you need the paper. Well, the only reason why you're getting a discount is we're able to put all of that in one single box. So you're kind of getting the discount where I don't have to use a separate box. I don't have to use extra packing, things of that. Like my bundles will make sense. You can add tape to it. Well, hey, it's nothing for me to go and add this tape to this box. I'm not doing extra work. I'm not a fan of packages and bundles when you have to do a lot of extra work. There we go. Design fee, setup fee, if I'm not mistaken. The design fee is spread out between each item so it seems like a discount. Exactly. If my design fee is my design fee, if you order one, hey, that's what it is, and this is why your total is this amount. Now you go and you need 5 of these. Well, it's going to seem a little bit less because I'm still going to have the same design fee, but your items, like if I'm just giving you like a full total, and because I have this pricing calculator, it's going to seem like it is less because that design fee or that service fee is spread out amongst all 5 items. Now you're going to get to a point to where that discount seems less and less and less, because if you need 100 and the only thing that we're really at that point, like depending on what it is, like this one I have to make everything the same and I don't have a way to speed up the process or save money, that discount isn't going to seem like a lot because you have 100 items and the design fee was like $50. So now that you have 100, it's not as much. It doesn't seem like as much of a discount when it's spread out amongst like that many things. But yeah, that's normally how I have this pricing calculator. I teach them to put, what their design fee is or setup fee, all of that. So if they wanted to present it in a way where it's like per shirt, this is more like custom and you're curating custom invoices, you would do it this way. Or if you wanted to use the calculator to understand like how you would set it up to then put it on your website, you can use that as well. Like, okay, let me calculate everything. So how do I build out this bundle? These are all the different things that I have. So if we did multiples of these, like how much would this cost? You can do it, that way if it's all going into the same packaging. If they were to order just shirts, I have to now use like this poly mailer or this box. If they were ordering these items, okay, now I need this box. Well, guess what? Now we're putting everything all in one. We're saving on packaging. We're saving on the box. I can pass that savings on to you. If I was able to, like, if you're doing something and hell, we were able to secure, because we're ordering more, we were able to secure your blanks for less. I'm still going to get paid the same amount of money for my labor. Like that's never going to change because I'm never, ever, ever, ever going to get paid less for doing more work. We can figure out discounts based off of securing the supplies. If we were able to get them for a little bit less, my markup will be the same, but because we're able to secure them for less, I'm still getting my same markup. It's going to seem less because we secured them for less. if I am able to change the process, if I price it originally, and the first time we did the shirt, I did it with vinyl. It was all like, it took a long time and the labor, but now I might, because now you want 500 of these, we can figure out a more cost-effective way. You're going to basically get a discount because we're doing it in a more effective way. But I'm never discounting my time. I'm never, ever, ever going to be paid less for doing more. Not going to happen. But there are other things that you can make it seem like they're getting a deal, but all it is you're saving money on the back end because of like how you're packaging it up. That makes sense. So it comes down to pricing your labor and making that priority second to quality. Not okay. Quality is, important because they're all separate. So I'm not going to say one is a priority over the other. Even if you don't present it to your clients line item style, I teach my students in my mentorship program on the back end when you're trying to figure out your front-facing price to your customers, you still need to be calculating the line items for this total price. So it's not that one takes priority over the other. You need to figure that out. I've used this example several times. I've had those, well, let's say I was making a birthday shirt, right? There are some where they're like, this is like a one-time thing. I don't care. Give me the cheapest shirt. I'm not worried about quality. I'm not worried about the shirt feeling heavy. I'm not worried about it feeling crunchy or whatever. I just need to be able to have this on for like 2 hours and then, hey, I'm good. I'm done. They don't really care, right? They just want like the design. Well, for me to do that design, whether I'm doing it with a printable transfer, if I'm doing it with sublimation, if I'm doing it with DTF, if I'm doing it with eco-solvent transfer, if I'm going to send off to have a DTF print, it doesn't matter. That design is a design. It's going to be the same thing no matter the method that it was used. Like no matter the method used to make the shirt. Now I have to look at the method that's going to be used. Some processes cost more and require more than others. After that, I have to look at, like you said, the quality of the material. So if they're like, I don't care, if I put this on a shirt that costs $1 or $2 or whatever it is, I have like my markup and stuff like that, but that's a really inexpensive shirt. I've gone and I've had people, they're like, okay, for my kids, they can have these, but I have this Nike shirt. They will bring it to me. Sometimes I've had to order it from my vendors and they want a specific quality for their shirt. Well, your shirt's going to cost more because I'm using a shirt that it's going to cost more to purchase it. I have put designs where someone's like, I'm not wearing a Gildan. I don't want a Nike. I don't want this. They want it on a Gucci shirt. They paid all this money for this shirt, brought it to me, but they also trusted me. Somebody that's new and you're not sure if you're going to press this and you haven't tested and you don't know about different temperatures for different materials. You don't know what it's going to scorch at. You don't know if it's going to burn through. Like I've had students and we've had people show stuff and it was dialed up so high they didn't test and like they burnt through some stuff. Well, you can't take that chance with somebody's shirt. Like that's a lot of trust. But like, I'm going to give you this shirt. That's pretty, there's not your little $2 shirts, but I trust you that you know what you're doing. You're going to know the proper way to press this. That's a difference in quality. If I had to go out and buy this shirt, they say they didn't provide it. You want me to go out and you want me to secure, you want me to go purchase it. At this point, you're no longer paying for just the cost of that shirt. I now have to put in work to go and purchase that, to go pick it up or do whatever. I also, whenever I'm doing certain things, like there is a disclaimer that I include if someone's bringing me something. Now, if it's like a regular shirt, I would say, I recommend that you bring extras because I'm only human. But if you don't, I need you to sign this waiver. I need you to sign this disclaimer that I am not human. So if something ends up happening and I'm not replacing the shirt, because if I was doing it, I already account for that. I'm going to have extra stress where you're never going to know something happened. But if you're bringing them to me, you either have to be prepared to bring me extras, then you can take it back and you can return it if you want, or you're going to sign this waiver. I did the same thing when it came to that shirt. I'm like, okay, let's talk about which process or whatever. When it came to it, I looked at what the material was. I went and I got fabric in that same material. I tested different temperatures, different pressures, different things to see different scorch marks before I even did that shirt. So because I had to do these extra things to make sure that I was one and done with pressing, I got to be compensated for that time. Like, this is something that's different. You didn't want the thing that I know how to do with my eyes closed. This is something different. It's going to require a different process. I'm going to test. I'm going to make sure. And I do this really with things, like even with certain colors, like I have it built into my prices, even for my test runs, because I will print it out and make sure that the colors are correct. That paper got to be paid for. That ink has to be paid for. That electricity to make that printer run, that has to be paid for. So when I'm talking about there is a system and a structure to pricing, I don't teach just price for the material that you use and just for your time. What is your process to make sure you are giving the best possible product to that client, to that customer? And if it's to print out sample pieces first to ensure, you got to cover that cost as well. So when I say on the back end, all of the line items, even my test ones, are a part of that line item to create, to get that final price. Does that make sense? So it's not just labor over quality, I mean. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, she says yes. Yeah, in my classes, I break it down. I'm not gonna lie. For some, it's overwhelming when this is the first time you've ever been introduced to this mindset about pricing, and knowing that you have to put in the work to come up with price. Like, it's okay, whatever pricing you have now, just so you can be able to make money. All right, cool. But once you know what you know, you can't unknow it. And then now you work to change those prices are going to change. I find that small businesses, especially Black small businesses or startups, they're so afraid to change prices. Yet these stores will change prices on you on a dime. When it comes to the gas stations, supply and demand, you go there today, tomorrow, the gas might be a whole lot more. We constantly want to like compare ourselves to big businesses, but we don't follow the same practices. Or we make it seem like, oh, well, because we don't do that, we're special. You should shop with us because we're not constantly changing our pricing. But that's not good business. If the market changes, if your supplies change to get them, and there's now this increase, why should you now make less profit because you didn't adjust with the market? I teach you how to price so that you are never taking a huge loss. I understand the structure, but I've never been taught how to implement the process. Then, honey, you need to join our creative business if you want to just kind of like maybe just see a small part of this, where I tried to keep it where it wasn't so intense. Our pricing for profit that's available on our shop site is a good one to enroll in. We did our pricing therapy session where I help you understand your toxic relationship with pricing and this mindset that you're stuck in about pricing. So we had a therapy session, and you're able to watch the playback of that. That is available on our website. The pricing for profit, if you want to try those out before you invest the $593 or the $693 in the creative business program, you're able to check those out. Now, those sessions are included in the creative business program, so you'll still have access to them. Now, if you go and you decide, well, I want to get pricing for profit, I want to get pricing therapy, and then I want to do this, you're not going to get a discount. You're just going to basically pay double for the same information because it is included in there. But if you want to just try it out, you know, before you invest a larger amount, then you go ahead and get like pricing for profit, pricing therapy, things of that nature. Okay. All right. I've been on for here 2.5 hours. It is time to go. I have work to do. I actually have some orders to do on the print side of our business for some shot glasses, some tumblers, for some hangover kits, designs for a banner, designs for memorial ribbons. Like, I'm trying to go through my list for today. So I have a whole lot to do today. So I am going to let you guys go. So she says, amazing. Thank you so much. You're very welcome. All of her classes, if you have questions, she does answer those. If you leave a comment on the video in the class you are watching, yes, definitely do. So you're never, and also whenever you enroll in any of our classes, we have like it is on Facebook. I know some people aren't on Facebook. Maybe if you want to create like a dummy account just to be like in the group in case you have questions. We have a Facebook group where you can post questions, and then certain programs does come with access to be able to send a message, like basically a text message, like directly to me, and be able to receive assistance. But you're never left to your own devices with any class that you take from me. You are put in an exclusive environment where you can ask questions. Okay. All right, y'all. Hope to see you guys. The creative business meets on Thursdays at 7 p.m. Like, that's the current day right now is 7 p.m. Each and every Thursday. We will, before we had like 2 days, but we're literally just starting back up. Like yesterday was our first session. Like, March is when we do it. Because we're going to go through like some tax stuff to get you ready for like April 15th for taxes. If you haven't already done yours, you're still sitting on, you don't quite understand it. Even if you did do it, but you don't understand like everything that they did, we're going to kind of break it down and what you need to be keeping track of. So we start like in March. There's a lot of information that's going to come from this, everything from like websites and using social media. If knowing when it's time for you to maybe have a digital product and how that goes, and just understanding marketing. Like, there's just a whole lot in that one. So if you want to join creative business every Thursday right now, before we once we get into the groove of it, it goes like 2 days, because we'll have a lesson day, but then we'll also have what's called a professor day or pro call day, where this is really where all of the questions come in, things that you've tried, and just kind of brainstorming and things like that. So we do have pro calls throughout the program as well, on top of like the dedicated lessons. Yesterday was an amazing class. I don't teach AI. I'm never going to come on here and talk about like AI like that, but they got a lot of insight, amazing insight into AI and how to leverage it and use it as an effective tool in their life and their business. So yeah, until next time, guys, have a great one. Continue to unlock your creativity and be incredible. Peace.